two cats on my bed. There's two cats on my bed. There's two cats on my bed. There's two cats on my bed. They're cuddling. They're cuddling. They're having a good time. They're cuddling. They're cuddling. These two cats of mine. I'm gonna kill myself. I try to stay away from TikTok because I know that if I allow myself to open that app, I will be on there for 12 hours a day and be more miserable than when I opened the app. But one of my friends shared an account and was like, "You should make a video about this." And I sadly agree. In my first ever video, I talked about the sexualization of goth or alternative women, and the response to that video was overwhelming. The amount of people who reacted to me saying I worded their exact thoughts or that they were relieved someone else had the same opinion is insane to me. I never expected this. I am so grateful for the response I got. But that being said, when I spoke my mind on the industry and how I don't really support it, I got one comment that stuck with me, which is why I want to make a disclaimer real quick. I am not phobic. Do I think the industry and OnlyFans are for lack of a better word? Yes. Do I immediately hate all women in the industry? No, because I am a firm believer of support the worker, not the work. Work has existed since 2400 BCE. It's often referred to as the oldest profession, and it's been around for centuries, and it probably will be around for even longer. But that does not mean I cannot strongly disagree with all of it. I've had my personal encounters with the horrible things that come from the industry in so many different ways. So my personal opinion is one that is often shared by the people around me, and it's that I don't condone it. I don't think should be promoted as something desirable, but that's my opinion. That's my opinion. So this is my disclaimer. I am just stating my opinion. If you don't like it, then either watch this video for what I have to say or click away because I am not responsible by how you feel about what I say, if that makes sense. Although this video is more of a rant and more just my personal opinion, I do want to give some researched info against one of the main claims that people use to make all of this okay. So if you want to skip to wherever I start talking about the alt Bop House, timestamp right here. Oh, but Lisa, early punks use sex work as anti-establishment and anti-capitalism, anti-system and anti-this and anti-that. Yes. However, it's not the 70s anymore. The were a real thing in the 70s and the 80s. The feminist movements of that time were marked by passionate debates surrounding sexuality, and that was collectively known as the feminist. These ideological clashes amongst feminists significantly influenced the contemporary discussion on and commercial. And even if in the 70s it was seen as this great anti capitalist thing, even then it wasn't safe or desired to be a. From 1970 to 1979, 21 female workers were murdered in the UK alone. 21 women we know of. Imagine how many more male or female there are that never went to the police about abuse, that were never identified or even never found. I want to go on, but I don't feel morally right if I don't remember those 21 women. They're not a statistic I can use. They were real women, they were real daughters, they were real mothers, they were real sisters, they were real women. 8 of those 21 women fell victim to the Yorkshire Ripper. Their names were Wilma McCann, Emily Jackson, Irene Richardson, Patricia Tina Atkinson, Jean Jordan, Yvonne Pearson, Helen Ritka, and Vera Millward. The other 13 were named Glenys Johnson, Maxwell Michelle Confet, Nora Wilfred, Mary Armstrong, Rosina Hillard, Aileen Cotter, the Duchess, who was found headless and was never identified, Barbara Booth, Joan Harrison, Barbara Young, Margaret Berridge, Carol Lennon, and Wendy Jenkins. A great article I'll also link below was written by Sarah Bennett, who backs her writing with the fact that there's been almost 200 homicides since 1990 in the UK alone. It might be one of the oldest professions, but it's also the one where violence tends to be targeted towards, predominantly by men, and male or female, it doesn't matter. Another thing Sarah Bennett wrote in her article is, for many, work isn't a choice. The impacts of capitalism and neoliberalism have been cited as some of the most pervasive reasons for entry into the industry. For instance, a 60% increase in street has been linked to cuts of social welfare benefits. Though contradictory, the danger of brutality is the last chance of survival for these women. Others have shared that the money they made wasn't even what someone working minimum wage would get, and their financial, their emotional, and their mental stability took a toll for the worst. If you sat through that whole part, I hope it was informative, and I hope you can understand my claims or my view on all of this a little better now. If you just skipped here, hi bestie, let's get into this alt Bop House shabackle shaboom. Bleh. When I clicked on their account, two things caught my eye. Um, it's a bunch of the same alternative girls who inspired my first video on like the whole Goth Dommy Mommy epidemic, which I'll link in like the I and the description, and you can just check it out on my channel. Ugh. In their bio, which reads, "The Bop House that will step on you." Don't me off now. As much of the comments agree, none of this is goth or alt or punk or whatever. Most of it will just be ahegao e-girl makeup in the same style I like to refer to as she and alt, or basically like the how mall goths were seen back in the day. Like I said in my first video, the industry has made it that a little eyeliner, a dyed hair, a little black top, and some tattoos makes you a goth dummy mommy. And that is a complete opposite of how all of it is supposed to be. Alternative women sexualize themselves as a statement to show that no matter what they wore, they should not be seen as less of a human, and they are not asking for it. And now look at what we got. We have the same clothes that they wore for such a statement, and they now mean the complete opposite. Not only did the clothes of early alt women make a statement on sexuality, but it was also used to go against the beauty standard. And guess what? Now we have the same alt girlies copy pasting their looks to sell whatever is being gooned at the time. And I don't want this video to seem like I hate these girls. I don't know them personally, and they're each gorgeous. Like, I'm not gonna be the one to say no, they're pretty as. Like, I'm not salty because I'm like, no, those girls are insanely pretty. But that doesn't take away from the problem I have with what they're being, like, what they're promoting right now. When my friend texted me a link to their account being like, girl, you should make a video about this, that meant I had to watch their videos. My TikTok algorithm severely right now. I don't want to talk about it. But I would love to share some of my personal favorites with you. Ugh. Oh my god, I hate myself. Yeah, you're right. I don't know all of that. But just by you starting an alt bop house, just by being in it, and just by promoting it, I can see your values clearly being off. You're right. I don't know your music taste. Congratulations, you have one alt point. I don't know your personal beliefs. Exactly. But you promoting this shows me more than I need to know. Just like your values. Not only are all Bop houses almost grooming, which I will get into later, they're also not aligned with any alternative subculture's ethics, along with not being aligned with any feminist ethics. And on top of that, the requirements of being punk or goth or alt or whatever the you want to call it aren't a pick and choose thing. You can listen to all the alt bands, dress the part, blah 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 blah. But if your values and your morals and your ethics are not up to par, congratulations. You're not what you claim to be. Let's dive into the next one, shall we? I'm so excited! Yay! I'm fucking losing my mind here. Sure. Sure, in the 70s it was, but just one Google search, one little small Google search would show you that it was never a desired job to have. It was either forced, a result of your social class, or forced. It has never been 100% ethical, and the fact you use it being one of the oldest professions as a claim to make it okay shows the lack of knowledge you have. Like, okay, it's one of the eldest professions, but if we look in history at the most reoccurring times of as or work as a job, you tell me if those conditions were girl bossy, slay, gay queen. No. No, they were forced, they were prisoners of war, they were in extremely bad conditions, or that was their only way of making money or providing for their family. That's not really girl boss, you know? That's not really slay. That's not really cunty. That's not really girly pop.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna snitch on you.
Well, I hope not, because I'd fucking kill your family.
What?
Sorry,
I'm sorry, can we look at the beginning of that video?
Don't worry, I'm not gonna snitch on you.
well, I hope not, because I'd fucking kill your family.
And I'll kill your family. I'm gonna need y'all to sit down and realize that alternative people are not just cartoon characters. Like, I don't care if you find the Hex Girls hot. That's a drawing. Like, I don't know if you know this, but I don't go up to people and be like, hey, you'd look good in my basement as a way of flirting. No, that's weird. That's so John fucking Wayne Gacy. Like, they don't have that many videos up yet, luckily, because I don't think I could handle more. I think already my blood pressure, my heart rate, all of the rest, my mood, and I know I used the term earlier, which is probably not the right word to use, but I want to explain why I use it. OnlyFans is not a cutesy way to make money. The amount of OnlyFans creators who sell it as something cutesy and girl bossy to make money, they don't show you the emotional toll it takes, the dignity it can strip you of, and so much more. I mean, look at a recent example, Lily Phillips, the OnlyFans creator who slept with 100 men in a day and made a documentary of the behind the scenes. A lot of people were saying, well, oh, it's her fault, but they don't see how dissociated and broken she looks. As someone who dissociates quite a lot, because I'm not mentally stable, who would have thought? The look in her eyes is so eerily similar to when I'm completely out of it. The whole reason people like Lily Phillips have an entire team behind her is that that team can take action when it starts to look like the talent is reaching a breaking point, and hers clearly didn't do that. That pissed me off, because why are you enabling something like this? Why are you as her team not stepping in and helping? But that's for another time. Anyway, another great article was written by Fortessa Latifi, who spoke with an ex OnlyFans creator. I saw other creators talking about how being an OnlyFans creator was empowering and a way to be in charge of your own life. That all sounded good to me, but the reality of what actually happened was nothing like that. During my time as an OnlyFans creator, I was more depressed and anxious than I've ever been before. I was making really good money, great money actually, on average up to $20,000 a month, but I felt like my subscribers were constantly pushing my boundaries. It was obvious that they saw me as an object for their pleasure, not as a real person. It was awful being constantly sexualized to a dehumanizing level. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't want this video to be seen as I hate all of them are evil. What I'm saying is why I personally think it's harmful, and I'm using articles to back myself up. I'm not trying to come across as rude, but just as there are people who find it empowering, I am allowed to say that I do not see it that way. It has not only caused an increase in the objectification of women, but also the violence against women. On top of that, addictions are real and life altering, not only for the one addicted, but also the ones close to them. I myself have seen what can do to someone without it being an addiction, but I was also in a relationship with someone addicted to and saw how it not only ruined his life but also mine. So I guess my entire conclusion is not only does the alt Bop House prey on the alternative community, they also feed off of the sexualization it's facing and it has been facing. And on top of that, they add to the crowd of spicy content creators who make it seem all cutesy and fun when it's not that. I don't want this to come across as hate. That is not what I stand for. That is not what I want this to be. But this has been something that I've made content about, that I've been very passionate about both online and in my personal life. And as you can see, or as I could see by the comments under the videos of the Alt Bop House, a lot of alternative people agree. A lot of the people talking about it on TikTok, on Instagram, all agree that this is not something anyone should want or anyone should stand by. So don't see this as me being like, no, I'm just on the internet giving my opinion just like millions of other people. Anyway, once again, I hope you found this video informative, or it was nice background noise for whatever task you're doing in the background, or it was a sleep aid for the people who fall asleep to my videos apparently. Um Make sure to do the necessary things like grab a snack, get some water, get some rest. Make sure you know you're loved and cared for, and also do the less necessary things like subscribe and like this video if you would want to see more of my ramblings. Make sure to leave in the comments what you would like to see a video on. I have a lot of ideas. Some of them are in the alternative scene, some of them are more into like horror, mythical, fairy tale scene. Some of them are just my special interests because autism. Um, but yeah, let me know what you want to see next, and I'll see you next time.